The story starts after Peter revealed his identity to the world. A hitman attempts to assassinate Peter, but tragically hit Aunt May instead. With May's life on the line, Peter didn't hesitate to act. He threw a car at the shooter and quickly swung to the nearest hospital, with Aunt May bleeding by his side. After she received medical attention, he returned to the scene of the crime. Peter then encountered an officer on his way. He would swiftly trap him in a web and meticulously investigate every nook and cranny of the building, and then he found a rifle scope. He would trace it back to a warehouse. He enters the warehouse and says, "I'm not in the mood. On this night, the rules are gone. No jokes. No punches pulled. As of tonight, no one gets away. No one threatens my family." All he cared about was discovering the shooter's identity. Meanwhile, Aunt May remained in the hospital, showing no signs of improvement. After several hours of frustration, Peter decided to take matters into his own hands. He swung over to a building he had avoided for some time. Peter then says, "I put this here a long time ago. I got rid of it in the first place because I thought it sent the wrong message. Maybe I kept it because there might come a day when I'd want to send that message. That the rules don't apply anymore. That the gloves are off. That I won't stop. Can't be stopped until I find the people responsible for shooting May." Peter was determined to catch the shooter. He went from one criminal to another, asking questions until he finally got the information he needed. He set up a stakeout at Grand Central Station where he patiently scanned the crowds, searching for his target. And when he finally spotted the shooter, he didn't waste a moment. With his lightning-fast reflexes, Peter pounced on him before he could even draw his weapon. He then says, "I want him to run. I want him to know what it feels like to be hunted, cornered, outgunned, doomed, dead man walking. Not so easy, is it, when the other side fights back? Not as easy as shooting an old woman through a window from across the street, is it?" He then beats him up and asks him who hired you. "Tell me now and I'll end this fast. Hesitate, drag this out, and I'll show you depths and levels of pain you've never even dreamed of." Just as he was about to tell, he got shot. But Peter quickly tagged the shooter with a tracker and followed the signal, and which took him to a man. Peter snatched the man's phone and told Kingpin that he was going to die and took the guy with him to make an example out of it. "Tell everyone. Tell the people you work with. Tell everyone in the whole wide world that my family is off limits. In this food chain, the rats aren't the predators. The men with guns aren't the predator. I am." After bidding farewell to Aunt May and Mary Jane, Spider-Man prepares to take his revenge. Spider-Man suits up in his black costume while Kingpin dons his suit, both gearing up for a showdown in the prison. As Peter sneaks past the tight security, the prisoners gather to witness the fight. Suddenly, a loud crash is heard from above, and Spider-Man dramatically lands in front of Kingpin, boldly confronting him with the words, "End of the road, fist." The Kingpin attempts to start a conversation with Spider-Man, expressing his regret that their meeting had to take place in a prison. However, Spider-Man didn't respond. Kingpin then tried to provoke a reaction by insulting him, calling him a chump. Chump, who is now hunted by the people he believed in, spurned by the system he supported, abandoned by the friends he thought he had, his wife living in a two-bit motel, and his dear, sweet aunt dying in a hospital bed because he couldn't even stand still long enough to take the bullet. But I guess you can't make an omelet without breaking a few old ladies. Spider-Man came crashing down on him. As Kingpin struggled to stand back up, and he said even his usual sense of humor and devil-may-care attitude seems to have abandoned him. Must be terribly distressing and unfortunate to have absolutely nothing left except the desire for revenge, which is especially unfortunate since once you've made a mockery of everything you stand for and victimized the women you said you loved. Really? What's left except humor? Once more, Kingpin finds himself facing a lightning-fast barrage of strikes that leave him reeling. Spider-Man is not pulling any punches, and Kingpin can barely keep up. Spider-Man says, "I'm not here to kill you." And then he takes off his mask. He ran towards Kingpin and landed a powerful punch as the crowd roars around them, but Peter doesn't hear the crowd. There's no crowd, no jokes, no cute remarks, no acrobatics, no weapon, no tricks. He thinks only one thing. This is the man responsible for the bullet that ripped through one of the two people loved more than life itself. No, not a man, a target. He then throws him around and says, "For all your money, for all your cruelty, for all your big talk, you don't have any real power. At the end of the day, You're just a fat man with an attitude. A balloon just waiting for someone to stick a needle in it, and me, I'm the needle. Kingpin then tries to jump onto Peter, but Peter easily takes the Kingpin down. Peter picks up Kingpin by his skin and slaps him front hand and backhand over and over in front of all of the prisoners until he's satisfied, and then finally stops and says he's going to pour a stream of web fluid down his throat, filling his esophagus and his lungs completely with webbing, and he's gonna die from the lack of oxygen. And in just 3 seconds, when he gets to 3 right, he decides that he will not kill him on that day, but instead wait for another, because he has already done something far worse to Kingpin, that he has beat him. The entire prison watched as it happened, and the word is already spread. If Aunt May were to die, Peter would come back and finish what he started. Kingpin knows he can't fight him, so he would just have to wait again, counting down to 3 alongside Peter. Peter takes the opportunity to send a clear message to every other criminal in the crowd that if they even think about harming his family, they will suffer a painful and slow death, and tells Kingpin to pray that his aunt makes it, otherwise he'll be back to finish the job. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.